Okay, hey, what is happening, everybody? My name is Michelle Emtre Hollis, and I'm with Vision Board Music and Vision for the Soul, where we be in harmony. And I am so excited to have an awesome, amazing guest today. His name is Douglas Meyers, and he is only an incredible illustrator and all kinds of other great names and great edifications that we can do for him. He's a great person. He's a great friend. He's an incredible business owner, and he's a creative. The reason that I wanted to introduce you all to him is because of the amazing things that he's up to and what he is providing to the world through the visual art. And we know how important that is. So I'm gonna ask Doug to go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and what you are all about right
Well,
now.
well, first of all, Michelle, thank you for sitting down and talking with me, man. I really appreciate you letting me come over here and kind of jump in your space and throw in some creativity. I run a cartoon studio. Ever since I was a little kid, cartoons always were my jam, and I always thought at some point I would outgrow it. And all these years later, I still keep sketchbooks. I still sketch things, and it was about 10 years ago where it just popped in my mind. I really want to start a cartoon studio. That's what I've always wanted to do. That's why I've written manuscripts, like novels. I have all my sketchbooks since I was a little kid, and it was never, my creativity was never something I ever outgrew. So I just figured this is really what I'm supposed to be doing, and so here I am.
Okay, awesome, awesome. That's what's up. So, we know that you are a budding entrepreneur about to blow up. But my question is to you: is this your first attempt to bridge your joy for art into a professional setting?
I've actually been working on this in one form or another for many, 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 many years. I've done contract work, and it's been kind of spotty. And then I've, had vacations in the real world where I've gotten quote unquote real jobs. I've done a
Hmm.
lot of crazy stuff. I did market research. I worked for a marketing research company. I ran an apartment complex. I ran a restaurant. I worked on political campaigns.
Okay.
I've done a lot of crazy stuff, but now it was just with Skyvenger's cartoon that I really said, you know what, this is it. I'm all in or I'm just dabbling.
Right, right. I completely get that. So wow, you have an incredibly colorful background as well when it comes to working. Um, how do you feel like any of those jobs in particular have set you up to, you do you find yourself pulling from some of those skill sets that you learned in the past in your current venture with Skyvengers?
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I always thought that going into getting these real jobs would lead to, some type of real career, but none of it has ever panned out into something else. And I've always found myself back doing creativity and, drawing and sketching and doodling. It's been what I've done in the margins of many of my math homework papers and when I was a kid and in college. And I was there might have been some correspondences with tenants when I was running an apartment complex that might have had a crazy looking face on it, drawn like, oh, your rent's due, you know, uh, you know, it's just something that's always kind of pushed into my awareness and my outward way of being. And then in the last few years, I've really taken to learning animation. Almost from scratch. I've brought
Oh,
in some very talented artists to help me with character animation and background animation, 3D animation, and I've always made it a point to kind of learn a little bit of kind of watch over their shoulder and ask them what they're doing without making
mhm.
them feel like I'm questioning them, but actually learning from them.
Right.
So and animation is just like any other form of storytelling. I mean, it's like writing a story, it's like a television show. It's like creating a television show or a movie. And
Mhm.
there are elements to good storytelling and animation, just as there's elements to good storytelling and other medium.
Like a song.
Yeah, songs especially. I find that musicians who write songs, a lot of times their creative process is very, very similar. It's really, so that's why I gravitate towards other creative people, just listening to, what they experience when they channel creativity. It's really fascinating.
It is, isn't it? And I absolutely love creative stuff too. And both of us being freshly uh, groomed, if you will, or molded into the entrepreneurial side of business, and because we understand that you got to know it, you just have to. It's just one of those things you got to bite into. And like you said, um, math and just anything that really requires my concentration for a long time, that's really at all, even creatively, but it could be hard for me to get focused in there. But once you
Oh yeah,
get focused, you know what I mean? But
it's
once you get
definitely
focused
stretchy.
in there, it's
Yeah.
stretchy. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, I mean, my business is something I've always found myself standing next to, but never really immersed myself in. And this experience of this world of ROI and financial statements and profit and loss
Yeah.
statements and spreadsheets. To me, it's felt like wearing a very tight wool sweater with no shirt on. It's itchy and it's sometimes uncomfortable, but I've learned to do something that's also uncomfortable, which is asking for help and asking for
Mm.
support from people who just spreadsheets come naturally to them. And I actually have a friend who said spreadsheets, that's my creativity. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
creative with spreadsheets, and it's not the numbers that she's, it's not the numbers that she's creative with, but I had a friend who told me this years ago, and that just always mystified me. This whole idea that spreadsheets could be creative, but I see it in the people who know it and who can wield a spreadsheet and just throw things together. It's kind of fun to watch.
It's a superpower and it's in of itself, isn't it?
It
and
really is.
and that brings us to how you overcame that that adverse reaction
Hmm.
to digging into your financials, which is so important because it's important to do and it is scary to do
Oh,
when it
absolutely.
comes to projections, because you don't want to just be arbitrary about it, you know what I
Right.
mean? But at the same time, it's like, where do you always start? So it is very much a creative process in of itself. But I think that we talked earlier, and you told me about a methodology that you use in bringing those things together. Exactly what you were just talking about. You were talking about finding someone else that it was their superpower, connecting with them, and being
Mhm.
able to merge that with your gift and what brings you joy and make it a fun project. And I think that's
Yeah.
the way that when we think about it in those ways, it's what I like to call the holy shift, because then
Yeah.
you find a way that
I
you can
like
put
that.
yourself, thank you find a way that you put yourself into it the way that you understand it and the way that it makes it more fun for you, and then it becomes awesome. So I want, for people that don't know what Skyvengers and your product is, can you quickly tell us about it and then show us a little bit of something?
Yeah, actually, in addition to doing cartoon production, which obviously I have a lot of fun with, I work with a really great team. And in addition to that, since entering the accelerator program, I've developed this idea. At the beginning stage, I called it a multi-book. And what I envisioned was a book that you would read. It would have text and maybe illustrations. But it would be digital, like a book that you'd find on Kindle, but it would be so much more. It would be text, illustration. It would have videos. You could click on a video and watch a video and then flip to the next page. And then you would have like maybe charts and diagrams and maybe but you would still have links in there. So you could click on a link and go
An
somewhere else.
interactive
And it would
experience.
be interactivity. I had this envision of like a book or a magazine or something along those lines that was completely interactive. Because one of the things that I'm seeing is like, especially with my children, is that they spend more time on these games in this virtual space, and they're spending less time reading. They're spending less time developing, having an idea of how storytelling actually works. And I find that I'm even finding at young stages that when they spend so much time on these games where there's no beginning, middle, or end, they when they get off and I ask them what they did, they don't have an ability to spin a story. And I think even adults have ability.
That's powerful.
It is. I mean, and you see it, like when you ask somebody, hey, what did you do today? And you hear somebody say, well, I first I woke up but I had this breakfast, and then, by the way, yesterday my car wasn't working. And they, a good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Hey, I woke up this morning, I had breakfast. It inspired me to go out for a jog. I came back, and then I slept for the rest of the day. And, that's a story. It's not an interesting one, but it's a story. And
it's a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Keep going. I know, I'm loving it.
So what that inspired me to do was to come up with this idea of I call it an animag. It's an animated magazine.
Animag. We got a new word in the house, y'all. Write it down. You heard it here first.
I didn't invent it. There is an actual magazine called Animag, but it's something that I'm kind of using. So here we go. So
all right, we source.
Okay, so let's see here. How do I? Okay, there we go. So this is it, and this is what the magazine looks like. So if you listen, you can even hear it flip the page.
Okay.
So here's my table of contents. Like for instance, I decided, I get to put these spreadsheets together. I get to show the instructors through, in Accelerator.
You don't have to show that part.
Okay, but anyway.
If you wanted to, I was just saying.
Oh yeah, so here are my table of contents. And I think you can, there's a way to program it to even go to the correct pages. Here's my vision and values. And in here, this is actually from my pitch deck. I actually took my pitch, my pitch that I wrote, and I, turned it into videos. So you can click on the videos, and as you can see here, it'll pop up in 1 second. It kind of streams. Now so if I start from the beginning here, and I'm having a little bit of streaming issues because
that's okay. That's okay. Let it pause for a second.
Yeah. So you can see here, and it runs, video absolutely flawlessly. I could actually text you this, this animag, and you can pick it up on your phone, and you can flip the pages, and then you can click video, and
maybe I can show that. I'm gonna have to take off my background, because you did send it to me. So what I'm gonna do, you know what? Can you toss the link in the chat? Let's see if I can play it. Let's see how easy it is for me to use it. Since that'll be kind of a neat opportunity.
Or I could just keep flipping it through.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. That's okay. No problem. I got you.
But anyways, as you can see here, you can, go through. I said, hey, here's a sample of my cartoon. So you can, pick this up, and, you can do just about anything with this thing. You can add other links to it. You can do, you can add charts, diagrams, and it's all there ready to go. And it does take a little bit. I'm finding that it's a little bit more difficult to open these links when I'm in Zoom, but here you go. The cradle of humanity. So in the middle of a magazine, you can watch a cartoon. Children soon outgrow their nursery.
That is incredible. Wow. So really, it's almost as if like Scholastic, let's say, or companies like that could actually could take this on, and this could be an easy way for a school system or a company to facilitate a training, and it's just all right there. Everything, they don't have to have someone go to a different link and then do this and do that. They could literally just flip the page, and they could read what they need to read, and then when there's a video break, it's just right there on the page, and they can just keep going.
Yeah, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And you can awesome. You can go ahead and flip this way. We've already been here. So here I've got, my spreadsheets that I incorporated. I even took a picture of my vision wall, and I incorporated that in. This is kind of like my my annual report. I kind of came up with the format from an annual report, which,
Okay.
is like a looking, an annual report is like a brochure or a magazine. So
That's
there's, there's,
right. That's
but yeah,
right.
you really hit on it. There's so many things you can do with this type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's, it's a fantastic possibility. And now that I see this, it combines my love of writing, animating, storytelling, information, merging. There's no shortage of things that can be done. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, it could be schools that could use this type of thing for teaching modules. I mean, imagine if kids don't have to lug this big, huge, heavy backpack with textbooks and folders, and I mean, it is now going more to computer, but
Right. I
imagine if
mean,
this is,
this is a good time.
yeah,
This is a
yeah,
great time. This is an excellent time to merge, to begin to merge that those worlds, especially if we're going back and forth from online to in person and things like that. So, and it's a green, it's quite a bit greener.
yeah.
So
It is.
there is that
Yeah.
component.
The reason why I'm so convinced that this is, what's hot now is the one constant in all of humanity in terms of communication and media. If you go from cave painting to cable TV, the thing that's always driven human communication is faster. I mean, it took a while to do a cave painting, and then you had to bring people in, and it would be even quicker. Hey, what if we stencil this on a stone, and so people could take it with them? Okay, well, you know what? Stone's kind of heavy. What if we, chiseled this on a piece of bark or a piece of wood? Wait, let's make it paper. You know what? Wouldn't it be cool if we could actually transmit it using radio waves? What if the radio waves we use?
Wow.
So this is really quicker, easier, faster, better to produce than, paper. I mean, paper books, have all been kind of, I mean, look at where bookstores are going. It's tragic. I love a handheld book. I
I do
still love
too.
holding it in my hand, but I love flipping those pages, and that's what leads us here.
Uh-huh.
The ability to merge all these different forms of media into one easy way to consume it. I think this is really huge, and the possibilities are only limited by our imaginations.
Hey, and guess what? Lucky for us, there's no limit to that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Doug, thank you so much for showing us exactly what it is that you are up to, and just sharing us your vision. I would like to invite you to think about animating that story you just told.
Oh man, that would be pretty cool. Oh,
Right?
can I have a recording of this? I will totally do that. That would be awesome.
Because
Yeah.
that will catch people's attention. A story is always an attention grabber.
This is what happens when you get two creative people in a conversation. Ideas just boom, boom, boom,
They're
boom.
just boom, boom, baby. Boom, boom. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
I appreciate it.
Much love to you. And can you just let the people know where they can find you?
Yes, I am on Skyvengers cartoon, just like it's spelled behind my head. Skyvengerscartoon.com.
Okay, move over to your left. There we go. Skyvengers cartoon. You see it right here. .com. All right, and of course we're going to have that in the chat and the comments below in the post and everything. So Doug, it's always a pleasure getting with you, and thank you all for taking the time to give us a listen. It always is. And also just letting you know, if you all need to figure out how to get a background, your logo in the background, Doug can hook that up for you. He's going to give you a special rate because he's dope like that. And he loves to see people succeed, and he loves to see the color just like I do. So
Absolutely.
so we're excited about that. So definitely reach out to the information that will be in this post, and Doug will get you together. Again, thank you for taking the time to just visit with us, and hopefully that sparks some creativity and some inspiration in your mind, our conversation today. And I am Michelle Emtre Hollis with Vision Board Music and Vision for the Soul, where we be in harmony. Peace and blessings.